Well, Happy New Year to everybody here. We are working on the Cutlass project. I have a few small exhaust pieces, brake hoses. This one here, of course, could have been wire wheeled a little more. Actually, I think I might actually wire wheel that one a little better. This one here is not bad. This one here is in extremely good condition here now. I've blasted these a few weeks ago. You can kind of tell there's a bit of remnants of little pits of rust there. That's okay. I mean, you know, once we get a coating on here, it'll be all right. You can actually see the markings and the part number. So this is obviously for the right side, and this one's for the left. So, but yeah, so I'm doing the exhaust hangers right now, and I'm just about to do this exhaust hanger. This one's been sitting in the garage for quite some time, and it's started to. I might actually throw it in the blast cabinet, but the thing is, it's like the blast cabinet, the dust blows out of the bit of the seam, so I don't know if I might just wire wheel this. I'm trying to keep the dust levels down in here. Quite a bit of dust, actually. I was using the sandblaster not long ago. The inner rocker here, I'm going to leave this for now. I'll paint that another day. I got some black primer sitting here in this cup. It's already been mixed. The activator's already in it. All I have to do is put it in my gun and go. So I'm not going to sit and waste too much time with it, because especially with this, because I want to make sure I have enough primer. This was mixed by my auto body man, and I have till midnight tonight to get it on something, or it's going to be basically like a block in there. So I got to get this done. It's about 3:30 right now, so actually it might be heading on 4 o'clock. I still got lots of time. I'm pretty well there. I just kind of covered up this just to keep the overspray down. Like I say, I'm not too worried about the overspray on the frame, because the body of the car is going to sit on top of it, but not only that, I could just scratch pad it off after. But I want to get some coating on here, because this has been welded before, and well, technically it should have been welded first before I painted it, but I mean, that's neither here nor there. So I want to get a coating on that, and same with the rear axle. I wire wheeled it, you know, it's cast iron, best as it's going to get. The backing plates are going to be replaced, so I didn't bother sandblasting those. So yeah, so I'm going to, you know, just get a coating on here, because this thing's been sitting here like this for at least a month now, bare steel. And when I came down here, there was quite a bit of rust on it. Not a lot, I can't say a lot, but it has definitely flash rusted a little more since last time I was here 2 weeks ago. I've been off for 2 weeks and I haven't been here. So I'm going to start wire wheeling this again here, and we'll get shooting here. Alright, so that's a little better. I couldn't get in here, so I'm going to switch over to the drill with the wire wheel. It's just over there. And I'll finish that up a little bit. We'll hang these suckers up, and we'll prepare the guns here. Okay, so I drained the compressor and went down it with wax and grease remover. I'm just preparing the my primer gun. I got my regulator on there. I set it to about 18 psi. That's more than enough. So yeah, inside here is my ready mixed primer. Only got till about midnight, and yeah, so I'll get that in there. So it is black primer, you know. Didn't bother with the gray. We don't need gray for something like this. If we're painting it black, it makes it a lot easier. So. Okay, so I'm gonna step out of the fumes here for a minute. I have enough primer to do 2 coats to the axle. I did the frame. I gave the frame a bit of a quick shot with that that black primer. Oh, I'm just gonna maybe I'll open this door for a minute. Quite fumy in there. But in any event, yeah, so I'm making a pretty good progress here. I got no runs. I think my pressure might be, my pressure is probably good. The only thing is that my fluid is coming out quite fast. I'm going through quite a bit of product. So I think I should probably make some adjustments to that gun. It's a brand new gun. I've never used it before. This is the first time I'm using it. I love it though. It's working really well. So I'm very happy with that purchase. So I'll let this flash for about 20 minutes and then I'll go at it again. And then I'll wait probably a half hour and then top coat it with the Delfleet black. And that'll end all of this. It's looking mighty good, just in primer alone. Alright, so we still have some wet spots here. I guess it was a little heavy in certain areas. This looks good. The flash time is about 15 minutes, so I'd say we'd be alright for another coat. This is where I come in to see what spots I missed. I can see I missed a spot here in this general area and along there. So I'm going to focus a lot more of my attention on the rear axle because that's the major part that I want done here today. That's what I came down here for. Like this has to get done. Now you'll notice these, pardon all this newspaper stuff I used to try and cover the frame here, this mess. A lot of people are wondering, well, why didn't you start sandblasting all these? Honestly, I found the Rock Auto doesn't seem to be able to. I can't seem to get them from the Rock, but Summit Racing has them for bone stock parts. They have a lot of high-end control arms too. I'm not paying the price for those, but they do have lower and upper control arms for both rear and front. So what I think I'll do is I will buy new control arms for it. What it would take me to paint and sandblast, it's not worth it. The use of my compressor, the hydro to run the compressor for hours on end to try and clean up that steel, it's not worth it. I mean, when you factor in time and material, blasting sand, use of the compressor, your paint, your primer, I might as well just go out and buy new ones that are already painted and everything ready to go. And if you do decide to paint them whatever color you wish, scratch pad and paint them. Like, there's none of this sandblasting. It's easier for me just to replace parts, really, when it comes to that. I think I'm going to get out of here for a bit. It's still kind of fumy. So I'm going to give it another maybe 5-10 minutes. These parts here are alright. These parts are dry already. So, you know what I mean? So, yeah, that's cure. That's good enough. So, I'll give it another few minutes and then I'll go at it again. Alright, so I fired up the furnace there just to help things cure a little better. I have the window open too, just for ventilation. I didn't want to turn the ceiling fan on because the floor, I haven't cleaned the floor in quite some time, so there's a lot of dust here. So I wanted to keep the dust down as best I could without having to turn the water on and wet the floor down. So we're good. We're absolutely set for primer here, or for paint here. This is just with it being cast. Like, I mean, I'm just gonna go ahead and shoot it. Like, I'm not really gonna spend a great deal of further time with this. So yeah, no, I'm gonna go ahead and mix up some Delfleet paint. I got some filters here, which is good. So yeah, I'm all set. And for this, I will use this gun with what tip is that on there? I'm not even sure. The other one was a 1.8. So anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and load everything up here. I got some mixing cups. All right, all set for the races. Delfleet uniform black. I have a bit of a problem. The can is damaged and I won't be able to shake it. So I got to stir it ever so lightly and slowly to mix up a little bit of the stuff sunk into the bottom here. And I've paint's been sitting for a couple of weeks. So just gonna stir it real good here, mix it up, and I'd say in about 25 minutes this is gonna be black, all set to go. Alright, so this is what I'm left with. Not sure if it's still wet or not. Delphi paint would take a bit to dry. Yeah, it's still tacky. Actually, I'd say it's a little beyond tacky. I'd say it's pretty well very wet yet. Now, Delphi paint always did take a while to dry. It wasn't so bad if it was summertime, no humidity, just you know, you could bake it out in the sun. But with it being in the garage, it more than likely will take some time to set. And the activator, I believe, is a slow activator. So anyhow, this is what it looks like. Like I say, there'll be overspray once we take this off. You know, just a little bit. Actually, you can see a little bit of primer overspray from where my welder man put some. But a lot of it is dirt too. See, you can actually clean that off. So there'll come a time where, possibly in the springtime, I'll give it a coat of paint, or sorry, I'll give it a good wash and wax. I did wax this frame at one point, but you know, it's dusty now from sitting in the garage for as long as it has. It sat outside for a bit too, so like a lot of this is just dust. You see, there's some dust there. So it could use a good going over. There's no doubt about that. Here, for example, this guy here, I just bumped into this stupid thing. So that's a brake hose hanger. The brake line attaches to here, and then the brake hose goes on the opposite side, and then it goes to your brake caliper. So this is the major thing that I wanted to get done, is the rear axle assembly, and I'm glad that I got it done. So I took a very good look at it, just to make sure that I did get everything. So what I'll do is, if tacky, I'll probably leave the furnace on probably till about midnight. When I go home, I can leave the furnace on. I can actually control it from my own home. The thermostat is actually one of those thermostats you can control with your phone or your laptop anywhere in the world. So it's really handy, because technically my residence is over an hour away from my shop, and what I can do is I can, before I leave the house, I can turn the furnace on, and by the time I get here, it's nice and toasty warm, provided that the furnace doesn't give me grief. Sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it does. But lately the furnace has been running good, so so what I'll probably do is I'll let it sit in here till about midnight, and I'll shut the furnace off to save fuel, and I can do that remotely from my own home. And if it is dry before I leave here, what I might do is I'll probably move this sandblaster out of here and just situate the axle on jack stands just behind here, so it's out of my way. And then what I'll do is I'll take the engine hoist out of here. It's not really necessary. I can go and park it where I normally do. So anyway, yeah, so I'm gonna let things just kind of cure a little longer in here. Like I say, I have it at 19 degrees. Maybe I'll coax that up a bit. Get it up to room temperature, and we'll just see how it goes. I'll come back in an hour, clean up the yard a little bit. Got a bit of ice pellets about a week ago, so I'm gonna go clean up the yard now, and hopefully by the time I'm done, this will be a little drier. Not sure yet. really tricky spot was in along here, so it wouldn't be surprising if I missed a few spots. Yeah, see, like in there. But something like that I can touch up with just a brush and possibly some trim clad rust paint. But like all these hangers, they're all good. These exhaust hangers, they're fine. They're cast as well. I mean, it's not a big deal. It's not dire straits. It looks a lot better than what it did. It's a lot better than rust, that's for sure. I'm really proud of this though. The rear axle did turn out good. So once I get new backing plates from the Rock, I'll have new ones of those, and well, yeah, that'll basically it. And then I can start, getting brakes and all this stuff all hooked up again, steering and all that. So it's getting there. We're getting closer. Alright, so I tinkered around the yard for about an hour. So yeah, it's pretty well cure. It does feel a little sticky in certain spots here. This one's the for the brake hose. You can tell this one wasn't really corroded all that much. It turned out really nice, whereas the other ones have just a little bit of a rough appearance to them, but you know what? That's okay. It is what it is. It's not something you're going to see every day, that's for sure. Unless you really enjoy crawling underneath your vehicle. Rear axle. Oh yeah, that's nice and smooth. That's perfect. A little sticky in certain spots, but I think what I'll do is I'll park it underneath the vent, and I'll just leave it on the engine hoist for the duration. I'll shut the furnace off at midnight, and I think that'll pretty well do it, along with everything else here. I mean, yeah, that's pretty well cured. I'll leave the furnace on for the time being, just so that it does have a chance to actually fully cure. It's supposed to not be too cold, -4 tonight, I do believe. So, like I say, I think we'll be okay temperature-wise if I shut it off at midnight. But yeah, no. Anyway, I'm very pleased with this. Yeah. So, anyway, that concludes it for today, guys. That's January 2nd today. So that's what I got done at the shop. All I need now is control arms. So if I had uppers and lowers, I could put the rear axle in. I'd have to use the old coil springs, because all I have is brand new coil springs for the front, not for the back. But we'll take it by day on that. I'm not in too big of a panic right now at the moment. We're already in January. Like I say, the weather will turn cold. I can't really do any body work to the body of the car right now. So if I get the frame done and mobile, have tires on it again, maybe I'll drop the engine and transmission in it. Yeah, and then all we have to do is worry about lowering the body back on the frame, and then it's pretty well all done from there. All it needs is a paint job. So there's still a lot of work to go, but I mean, it is pretty basic. We're getting there with it. There was a lot torn apart on this car. It was pretty well everything was torn apart, right from bolt to bolt to everything. Everything was torn apart. Straight frame, like you can see right now. Cross member wasn't even in there. There was no brake lines in it. Like this stuff takes time. This isn't a typical 10-minute paint job, and there was definitely some work involved here with this. Anyway, guys, you take care of yourselves. I'll see you next time.